What? Vancouver pregame, postgame, every game presented by Bodog. Make a play at Canada's Choice for free casino games, sports odds, and poker strategies. Wadden and JPat here with you with another edition of the pregame show as the Canucks get set to face off against the Nashville Predators. Riding high, JPat, after that win over the Ducks. They're going to want to ride that momentum because they got a big road trip coming up after this.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm a little disappointed, though, Andrew. I thought I was going to log on here and you were going to have, like, your Stetson on, maybe some rhinestones as well. You're going to dress the part for a visit from the Nashville Predators.
I'm saving that for tonight. I don't want to give away my outfit this morning, JPat.
Fair enough. Hey, remember when the Canucks were 0-5-2? Who can forget that? All of a sudden, they have a chance to head out on this big 5-game road trip with 4 wins in 5 games. The only loss would be the New Jersey Devils if, and it's a big if, they get past the Nashville Predators tonight. But let's be honest, the Predators are a beatable team. They're right there, just a single point ahead of the Vancouver Canucks in the standings. And as you said, the Canucks with a fair bit to build off on the 8-5 win over the Anaheim Ducks the other night. Goals galore, the hat trick for Kuzmenko, Bo Horvat scoring, Elias Pettersson with the big night. Of course, there are the areas of concern, defense, the play in front of the goaltenders, and penalty killing. We'll touch on all of that, but it does look like lineup changes for the Vancouver Canucks. Nils Höglander, who was a healthy scratch the other night, doesn't just get plugged into the lineup, looks like he's going to get plugged in on the top line with Bo Horvat and JT Miller. So a little bit of a surprise there, but if Höglander wants an opportunity, it looks like he's getting one tonight against the Preds.
Yeah, it looks like they'll have the same D pairings as well. Not expected to see Burrows or Rathbone in the lineup. You touched on Bo Horvat there for just a moment. 3 straight multi-goal games for the captain. He's red hot.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. The puck seems to be following him around because it's not just the goals that he scores. He hit the post against the Devils the other night on top of the 2 that he did score. Had a great second period chance, was robbed by John Gibson against the Ducks the other night. So he's scoring in bunches, but he's getting so many chances right now. He's not going to stay at this pace. It's probably not a news flash, but man, it's been fun to watch. And to get to double digits already, trailing only Connor McDavid in the National Hockey League, you know that the Preds are going to be aware of what Bo Horvat is up to, but it's not just Bo Horvat. When we talk about Kuzmenko with his hat trick the other night, he's up to 6 goals now. And how about JT Miller kind of quietly on a 5-game point streak coming into action tonight? There's been so much focus elsewhere with Horvat, with Kuzmenko, with Pettersson's big night, the power play, and then, of course, the penalty kill. It's taken some of the attention off JT Miller. You're still waiting for Miller to really impact a hockey game and dominate a hockey game. I don't think that's happened yet this season, but he is finding ways to contribute. On a 5-game point streak, we'll see if he adds to that and can stretch it to 6 tonight against Nashville.
JT Miller racks up those power play points, and the Canucks have been super hot with the power play as well. They've scored twice in 4 straight games on the PP.
Yeah, we thought that the power play was going to be a weapon for this group, and now it's into 4th in the National Hockey League right now by percentage. Hard to argue with 4 straight games of 2 power play goals. So they've scored a power play goal in 6 straight, but they've kind of upped the ante here in these last 4, where they've cashed in twice in each of those 4 games. So we'll see if they can do that. It's funny, I think back to a game in Nashville about 3 years ago where the Canucks scored 5 times on the power play in the same game in a win over the Preds. That was at Bridgestone Arena. Canucks would take that tonight. I don't know that I'd bet on them scoring 5 power play goals, but again, the way the power play is going, it certainly can be a difference maker, and it has been a difference maker for the Canucks. Unfortunately, it does sort of mask their performance at 5-on-5. So we'll see if they can continue to sort of get some traction at even strength, but they know that if the Predators take penalties, they can certainly make them pay.
On the other side of the coin, though, the penalty kill, absolutely dreadful right now.
Yeah, and hard to figure out. That this team just can't figure it out when it comes to the penalty kill, but I do think we're going to see some changes, at least based on Friday's practice. Looks like JT Miller and Bo Horvat, 2 guys who have been fixtures on the penalty kill, but maybe that's part of the problem. They look like they're going to be taken out of that role, and so you're going to see more of Elias Pettersson, Ilya Mikheyev, Nils Åman. Tanner Pearson's going to get a chance to kill penalties again. Even Dakota Joshua and possibly Jack Studnicka, the newcomer. Those look like the 3 groups of forwards that the Canucks are going to try. Hey, first of all, stay out of the penalty box. If you can't kill penalties, don't put the other team on the power play. But if you do go to the penalty kill, you got to find a way to get the job done. And it looks like the Canucks are going to try to get that job done without Miller or Horvat as part of the penalty killing units.
Nashville Predators not playing so well this year. They kicked off the year in Czechia with a win over the Sharks, but have only 2 wins since being back in North America. But they did get that big victory over Calgary heading into Vancouver.
Yeah, they come into this one 4-6-1, so again, below the playoff bar. This was a playoff team. They snuck into that 8th spot, the second wild card spot. And remember, they lost their starting goaltender, UC Saros, just ahead of the playoff series against the Colorado Avalanche. So I don't think they were going to get past Colorado, the eventual Stanley Cup winners, but they didn't really get a chance to put their best foot forward without their starting goaltender. So that was a tough spot to be in. We'll see if it's UC Saros. It wasn't Saros the other night. Kevin Lankinen was in goal for the win over the Calgary Flames. You mentioned the overseas start to the season, and maybe it was a false sense of security. They beat the Sharks twice, in fact, over in Prague. But since then, they only have 2 wins in 9 games on North American ice. So it has been a struggle. This is not a high-scoring team. Newcomer Nino Niederreiter is their leading goal scorer. He's got 5 on the season, but 4 came in the first 4 games. And so he's kind of gone cold since then. Philip Forsberg, it's Movember, one of the great mustaches in the National Hockey League. He's always a handful to contain. He leads the Preds. He's got 12 points so far this season. And another thing, we've seen this already a handful of times. It was Jordan Eberle when the Canucks were in Seattle. It was Sidney Crosby when Pittsburgh came through town. Guys that were sitting on the precipice of big round milestones when it comes to individual point production. Tonight, it's Matt Duchene with 699 career points, a chance to reach 700 against the Vancouver Canucks tonight. And one other note about the Nashville Predators, North Van's Colton Sissons celebrating his 29th birthday today. We'll see if he has reason to celebrate with his team later on this evening.
Well, nonetheless, happy birthday to the local boy, Colton. That brings me to my best bet now. And JPat, I like the Canucks tonight. I'm betting them on the puck line, minus a goal and a half at plus 200. I see a 4-2 game for the Canucks, empty net goal.
Yeah, I think I would take the Canucks as well in this one. And obviously, you line up and play the game, and Nashville will have something to say about it. But Canucks do have a little bit of momentum going. Their best players certainly are stepping up. It's a question of, can they keep the Preds down? And as I said, Nashville doesn't score a lot of goals, so another opportunity. How many times have we said this about Thatcher Demko? First goalie off the ice in the morning skate. It was an optional skate this morning, so there were no line combinations, and we'll have to wait to warm up to see if they do skate the way they did in practice. But all indications are it's Thatcher Demko. 1 win, 11 games into the season. I know he hasn't played them all, but he's sitting at 1-6-1. He has to get going. This team won't go anywhere unless they get the kind of goaltending that Thatcher Demko provided them a season ago. So this is another opportunity for him to start to build things up again. If they can get the goaltending that they expect from Thatcher Demko, I like the Canucks' chances as well against the Preds tonight.
All right, then perhaps Thatcher Demko could be your do-something candidate?
Yeah, he could be, and he has been. I think he was against New Jersey, and that didn't go so well for him or the team. So, no, you know where I'm going tonight? I'm going Quinn Hughes. I just feel like I feel like we're on the verge of a sort of breakout game for Quinn Hughes, who, again, has been stops and starts with the injuries. I don't think he's been his dynamic best. I saw some signs of life, though, again, against an Anaheim team that doesn't defend very well. Had a couple of assists the other night. He's better than a point-a-game guy. So when he's in the lineup, he is able to pick up his points. He's that talented. We know that. And with Roman Josi on the other side, Norris Trophy winner from a couple of years ago, a guy that had 96 points last year, 23 of them goals. And Roman Josi, by the way, leads all NHLers entering the day, or all NHL defensemen, rather, in shots on goal. He's only scored twice, but he scored 23 times last year. So, you know, there's a benchmark on the other side for Quinn Hughes to look at. This guy's got the Norris Trophy. Hughes wants to be in that conversation. I don't know if he'll use that as motivation. Whatever the case, I just kind of feel like Quinn Hughes is on the verge of a breakout game, and maybe it happens tonight. He usually does something that brings people out of their seats, but he is my do-something candidate for the Vancouver Canucks tonight.
2 assists last game, kind of a ho-hum for him, though. Just another day at the office.
Just doesn't feel like he's taken over a game
yeah,
though.
Totally. No, I absolutely agree. Love that. Absolutely love that. You mentioned those 23 goals that Roman Josi scored last year. Well, Bo Horvat's already up to double digits in goals this year. So our question to you is, who's going to lead the Canucks in goals this year, and how many goals will they score? We'd love to see that in the comments. And as well, tell us who you think needs to do something tonight for the Canucks as they face off against the Preds and then head out onto this road trip. If you had to pick, JPat, and I'm going to force you to right now, would it be Horvat that leads this team in goals, or perhaps you'll go elsewhere?
Well, Horvat would seem like the early favorite, obviously, with 10. He's got a 4-goal lead, but that can change in a hurry. We saw Kuzmenko score 3 the other night. I'm not predicting there'll be another hat-trick tonight, or maybe even all season, but I do think Kuzmenko probably will have a couple of 2-goal games, especially if he's playing with Elias Pettersson. JT Miller's at 6, and we said it's sort of been a quiet start to the season for JT Miller. So it's not an insurmountable lead for Bo Horvat. And then, of course, the kicker in all of this, Andrew, will Bo Horvat be here all season long.
That is correct.
You just don't know. So you got to take that into account. I would say Kuzmenko. If you're asking me to pick, I'm going Andrei Kuzmenko to lead the Vancouver Canucks in goals all season long.
Boy, when you throw in that twist of a possible trade with Bo Horvat, it might be hard to pick the captain, but I'm going to stick with the captain. I think he's going to lead the team in goals this year. Don't know if I want to give a number just yet, but the way he's going, I think 70 it's possible. It's possible.
70 goals.
I'm kidding, JPat. All right. Be sure, of course, to get the post-game podcast from us as quick as we can on your favorite podcast platform. We'll have that for you available after the game. And the Canucks heading out onto this road trip, they're going to want a W as they go out on the road. This has been another edition of the Rink-Wide Vancouver podcast presented by Bodog. For Jeff Patterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink-Wide is the show that always scores.